What's up, you? For today's video, really full bypass protect Pokemon team. Last time I did a team a couple of weeks back, it was around protection moves, and this team today is around bypassing protection moves. So it's very niche, but it's really, really interesting. Bowser, this one is for you. So pretty much, I'm going to be using Pokemon moves and abilities and pure strategies all based around getting around the opponents when they try to use protection, right? So in this video, we're going to go in raw. Sorry, I had to say it. I spent a lot of time on today's video. I know it's a really long video, but I really hope you appreciate the time I spent to get these battles because they were absolute bangers. Let's get into it, everyone. If you want to support the channel, hit that like button. It's not going to hit itself. All right, we got a random battle here against Casi, I think I got that right. And we got a Scollin and Vikavolt lead. Now, all today's battles are going to be double style. So we've got the double Hooper PIMPNITE special here. Let me break it down, right? So we got a Hooper normal and Hooper unbound. Both of these are going to be a Trick Room service set on the lot of them. And I've got only attacking moves that can break through protection, right? The other moves I gave them was status moves, but they were just to help with the strategy. So we got Hyperspace Hole and Hyperspace Fury on both the Hoopers, and Fan of Force and Trick Room and Protect. Now, this is actually pretty fun because with Magician, you could steal the items off the Pokemon, or I could try and hard counter something like Vikavolt, which is going to take me out with like a bug bite, right? So I had to get rid of that really, really quick. Now, the EV spread on Hooper Unbound, max health and max attack Brave Nature, Magician ability, Terra Dark, and then Hooper was max attack and max special attack Quiet Nature. So Inteleon is going to slide in and it's going to slide out there. Got hit by 69 fists. Now, the great thing about this little combo with both the Hoopers, right, is I could fire off a really, really powerful physical move, and then my normal Hooper could fire off a really, really powerful special move. And Hyperspace Hole looks hilarious because Hooper is so tiny and like it just teleports, right? So in comes Dragonite. It's going to finish off my Hooper Unbound, but that was an excellent start to the... Oh, it's a shiny green Dragonite, I just noticed. All right, I'm going to spank that Capsicum and do 2 damage. This Scollin is actually starting to be a big, big threat to me because they're running a Moody ability set, so it's randomly raising those stats. I also managed to get myself a leftovers from Magician too. Now, if you are featured in this video in a battle at all, please tell me because I really did have some great battles against a lot of random opponents. Next Pokemon is going to be Giratina. Hopefully I'm a Giratina winner. Now, we have got on the Giratina set, obviously, we're using its main signature move, Shadow Force, which, bypasses protection as well. And I thought, how else can I run this? Because I've only really got one attacking move to use. So I'm using Pain Split, Thunder Wave, and Will-O-Wisp. We've got Telepathy as the ability, Power Herb as the item, max attack, Adamant Nature, and max speed. Now, first things first, I wanted to shut down the Dragonite because it is a threatening Pokemon. So we got Will-O-Wisp there, and Giratina's got some very, very impressive natural bulk about it. Whether using in singles and doubles is always quite good. So the Trick Room is now gone. Scovillin's getting a Moody for the 69th time. It's getting bulky. It's getting too bulky. I can't ignore it much longer. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Force, and I absolutely have to break that substitute, and I do, which is really cool. Now, I've got my next attack coming up as well from the Hooper too. It was pretty cool because I could actually dodge moves with these 2-turn moves, and you sort of coordinate the attacks. So the Dragonite's slowly getting my Giratina's health down, and now it's got growth too. So it's got growth and Moody, and I've used that a lot. Scollin, I've actually done a Scollin sweep before, and this thing stockpiles hard, so I couldn't ignore it anymore. It was going to be way too much of a threat. So Dragonite is pretty much out of the picture now. It can't really do too much. I have to finish off this Scollin, right? Now, my Hooper has a good chunk of health now. I was like, well, look at the stats it has. Like, I've got to get rid of it, right? Let me know if you enjoy these double battles too. Please give me some feedback in the comment section. I do like to show you guys all different sort of strategies in Pokemon and stuff like that. So Dragonite's going to finish off the Giratina. There wasn't much I could do there. That was a crit though, so that did matter. I would have lived the next attack there, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is, right? I was going to go for Shadow Force. So Scovlin's going to cook me with a flamethrower. Hooper lives, which is an excellent live, and I managed to get Phantom Force off there. So Phantom Force pretty much is just a poorer version of Shadow Force. There's literally no reason to use Shadow Force, Phantom Force over Shadow Force if you're a Giratina. Anyway, so Scovlin's special attack is going to get all its Moody boost. It got 69 of them. Next Pokemon is Dunsparce. Now, Dunsparce has its signature move, Hyper Drill. So Hyper Drill bypasses protection without, which is pretty cool too. Without breaking, which is really cool. So I thought I'd include that in this team. So we've got moves and strategies all based around bypassing protection. So this is a coil set. We've got Hyper Drill, Coil, Roost, and Amnesia. It is max health and max special defense, Careful Nature with Everlight. And it also has Rattled too. Rattled increases its speed by 1 stage if it gets hit by Bug, Dark, or Ghost Right, or Intimidated. This Dunsparce was so tanky, and only being a normal type too, it had only one weakness. The Terror on it was electric too, mainly because I came across a lot of Miraidons and stuff, and that would really shut them down. So Hooper's, it's using protection as well. Dragonite's going to go for Fire Punch, and they got a lucky burn on Dunsparce. Sorry, Dunsparce. So I'm getting my worms mixed up. So I'm going to twirl around there and boost up my attack and defense. This is good, but the only thing is now it's burned, so its attack isn't going to be doing as much as I would have liked there. So Hooper's getting some more leftover recovery here. Dragonite, I can pretty much just ignore that now. Scollin is my main target, and there's 2 more Pokemon in the back, which were pretty scary as well. So another round of Moody's for the Scollin, or Scovy is their nickname, and Hooper's going to actually live that one. Very impressive, and more Fire Punches from the Dragonite doing no damage. I'm going to go for Hyper Drill here, and Scollin finally goes down, which is really good. So I'm happy to get rid of that. I almost left it too late there, and I wouldn't have been able to find it. So here comes the Hyperspace Hole. Hooper gives Dragonite a little high five, and that is the end of Dragonite. It was a juicy crit too. 2 Pokemon left, however, these were good Pokemon. There was no, especially Sneasler. Hitmonchan, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it's actually quite a good counter to some of my team. So I've got Hyperspace here, and I was thinking they haven't Terra'd yet. I wonder what they're going to Terra. Is it going to be Hitmonchan or Sneasler? So Sneasler's going to go for a Terra Poison. So obviously Sneasler is a very good Pokemon with Dire Claw. And I was definitely going to die to that. I only had a bit of health left. So bye-bye Hooper. Now, I couldn't do a lot here with my Dunsparce because I was burnt. And Hitmonchan has got Drain Punch too. So that's doing tons of damage there. And, I can't do much. I went for Hyper Drill on Sneasler just to get some damage because I was starting to formulate a plan inside of my head how to get rid of this, right? But it did require a little bit of luck. My next Pokemon is Urshifu. This is a great Pokemon. It's probably one of the few times you'll get to see me use like a sweaty set. But the reason I used it is because of its ability Unseen Fist, right? Basically, it's contacting moves, ignore protection, right? So that's why I went ahead and used it. So swapping into Sableye there, doing a little bit of a bait and swap there. And what I thought to do there was to tank the Dire Claw and allow, because my opponent was ignoring Dunsparce now, because it was on a low amount of health, to get some more damage. So Sableye, this is the true PIMPNITE special here. It works very well. This is Terra Steel, Faint, Phantom Force, Quash, and Recover. Now, I'm going to show you in today's video why Sableye is an absolute beast with Quash, right? Quash is a really unique move, but Sableye is such a good user of Quash, right? So if you play a lot of doubles and stuff, or memes, or competitive, you got to try out Quash Sableye. It's really, really good. I've been saying this for the get-go, as soon as that combination was possible, right? So we're going to go for the Terra Steel here. I thought they'd just keep peppering me with Dire Claw. I mean, what are they going to do? Close combat? So I thought, that's great. That'll buy my Sableye 1 turn, and then I'll be able to get another round of damage off and heal myself too. So that worked out perfectly. With the Sableye. Running Steel on Sableye is a very good Terra, and I knew that Hitmonchan wouldn't be able to... I knew they weren't going for fighting moves, right? So that was very, very good. So extra damage on Sneasler. Last Pokemon is Urshifu. This Urshifu, of course, is a very good set. I've got Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, Drain Punch, and Ice Spinner. Mystic Water is the item. Adamant Nature, Attack and Speed. So you guys get to see me use the sweaty set. So we're going to go for a Quash there. That's going to postpone Sneasler's move because it is a very, very fast Pokemon. That would have easily outsped me. And if I didn't have Quash there, I 100% would have lost the battle there. Quash is a great move. What it does, it forces the target to move last in the turn, which is a really, really great move. So Sableye is bulky, and it's got a Citrus Berry here too. It is 252 in health, 164 in defense, 68 in special defense, and Impish Nature. And I thought, I've got a great idea. Let's finish off the Hitmonchan with a little combination here. So this is pretty funny. So I think my opponent knew what sort of team I was doing, my random opponent, because they went for Protect. So I went for Feint. Feint bypasses the Protect. It actually says it fell for the Feint, which is really cool. And then I went for the Surging Strikes there. So with those two moves, that was actually enough to take out the Hitmonchan. But what a crazy battle, and I'm really glad I got to show off like pretty much all the strategies there, and even a bit of fun there at the end with the move Feint, which is really cool. If you're enjoying the video so far, give that like button a slap, and tell me what you think. Do you like these doubles battles? I like doing these. I always like doing in-depth sort of interesting strategies here for you all. All right, next random battle here. This is a battle against Arthur, and we have a Skeledirge and a Primarina Lee. If you don't know what Feint does either, basically it nullifies Protect, Detect, Quick Guard, Wide Guard, and it busts through. It's not a very powerful move. It's only 30 base power and a normal time movement. With Sableye and no attack EVs, it was doing like 1 damage, but it was all part of the team. This is pretty cool. So we've got a Fire Pledge and a Water Pledge strategy here from my opponent, combining a move, and they're going to form a rainbow on my side of the field. So that does certain different effects. I actually have done a Pledge Moves team before. And you know what? While you guys are watching this video, would you like to see a new updated Pledge Moves team? The last time I did it was in, I want to say Gen 6 or 7. I could redo a brand new one. If we get enough people saying in the comment section, they'd like to see it, let me know. Drop a like on the video if you want to see it. I can give you guys some full doubles strategies with those moves because I have such really, really cool effects. So anyway, back to the battle there. We've got a Terra Fire Skeledirge, and this obviously is going to be doing as much damage as it can to be. So I was really, really worried about that. So I went for the Hyperspace Hole. I stole a Leftovers again for the second time, and I double targeted that because I didn't want that on the field at all. It was a big, big counter to my team. So bye-bye Skeledirge. It's good to get that one out the way first. Plus, they also wasted their Terra too, which is good. Now, Primarina is left on the field. It's going to go for a Moonblast. Hooper Unbound has got some very, very impressive special defense, but, after using Hyperspace Fury, unfortunately, it does drop its stats a little bit there. Now, also, Primarina's got a fat special attack too. Next Pokemon, DJ Pascal. I don't. Some of these nicknames, I don't understand. Maybe it's a team or just a random nicknames. I'm not sure. So in comes Como, and there goes Como. I love that Hooper animation. So, some of the animations in this game are really good, and the sound's really funny too. Next Pokemon we got coming in, we've both got a Giratina, and they're both shiny as well. It's a family feud, guys. So I wanted to show them, which I was excited about. I'm going to show them who's the real Giratina, So I've got this coil set with Dunsparce. I'm thinking, what are you really going to do to my Dunsparce? I mean, they don't know that I have nothing to not hit them with Dunsparce. but I thought it would be a good, like, you know, really, like, tanky Pokemon. So Hooper's going to live that Shadow Sneak. It was kind of nasty, though, with my typing. And we're going to get a coil up with little Dunsparce here. So this, it's surprising double Hooper strategy, how well it actually worked. As long as I got that Trick Room up, I could, you know, bang really 2 hard attacks out. The Rainbow is going to disappear from the field there. So I really do like double strategies, the specific double strategies like that, or like the one I'm doing. I really enjoy them. So great to do battles on and stuff. So in comes Chansey. I wanted to draw the Chansey out. That's why I went for Phantom Force. And I can now use Dunsparce to go for the Hyper Drill, because Chansey was actually quite a bit of a counter to my team if I didn't have any physical users left, right? As you'll get to see what all my movesets were, there were quite a few special moves too, and ghost moves. So the Trick Room has finally run out there. I've got Hyperspace Hole. I can't really do much to that except go for Primarina, or I could go for Hyper Drill. So unfortunately, Primarina is going to outspeed me and Hooper's down. So that's a bit of a shame there. The Hoopers were very, very low IVs and speed too. I can't quite, I don't know what the specific ones were, but they were quite low IVs and speed. Anyway, here comes the Hyper Drill on the Chansey. Good damage, but not quite enough, sadly. Bringing in the Giratina. Now, Giratina is actually floating at the moment, which is really, really cool. So with this set, I've got Shadow Force, I've got Pain Spit. I thought, now that's like Shadow Force with the Power Herb was sort of like my nuke to get rid of like really, really threatening Pokemon, right? That's what I would use for. So I was like, okay, I need to do something right now about that Primarina. I think I should go for Terra Ghost. So I went for the Terra Ghost. I've gone for Shadow Force. I have got max speed too. And I thought I'll target Primarina and do some big fat damage to it. That was the idea, and I took it out. So that was awesome. Then the thing is, after that, I don't have a Power Herb. So then I've got to wait 2 turns, which is a weakness because opponents can set up. Next Pokemon is the Giratina. I knew they'd set it out as I seen mine there. And I've still got Shadow Force, but I thought, instead of going Shadow Force, how about I go Will-O-Wisp maybe and shut this Giratina down? Because we've seen Shadow Sneak already, right? They may be inclined to use it. Chansey's gonna go for a Helping Hand. I'm like, oh no, this is bad, right? It's juicing up that Shadow Sneak, but Giratina is thick. It's super, super thick, and now I've got the Will-O-Wisp up there, and we're gonna be able to burn the Giratina. So now any of its physical moves are not going to be doing anywhere near the amount of damage it needs. So Hyper Drill's coming in hot here, and Chansey is going to faint. So I'm in a very, very strong position now at the moment, which is super, super handy. Next Pokemon is going to be Sceptile. Now, I would say I'm looking at their team. It is a pretty cool team. I'm thinking Sceptile must have been like their Shed Tail Pokemon, instead of leaving it to last. I'm trying to feel out what their role was for that, but that's how I would use it anyway. So I went for Hyper Drill on the Sceptile. I got some good damage. I was happy with that, I was happy. So some more burn damage on the Giratina. It's got Grass Pledge. Okay, so it's sort of part of the strategy there. So Grass Pledge is obviously going to miss because there's no Pokemon there. And my Giratina takes out that Giratina easy peasy. So my Giratina completely shut that down and then fainted it. I'm going to go for the Hyper Drill here, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to show them it is a meme set. I've got Thunder Wave, and we'll go for that Thunder Wave right now. Here comes the Giga Drain for 3 damage on my bulky Everlight Dunsparce. The moment Giratina went for Thunder Wave, that switch got snapped in half like a Kit Kat, and that is the end of the battle. I don't think they like the fact that I had Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp on the same set. Let's get on to battle number 3 here. This is a random battle against Mark, and this was an interesting team as well. We've got this was a full grass team, right? So we got a Leaf on, and we got ourselves a Shaman Sky. Now, it's a shame they've got this Pokemon because it is pretty scary. Now, I was thinking, I'm going to go for protection. I know I said I was going in raw today with no protection, but we've got to go for protection, all right? That's going to get taken out of context. So we've got a tailwind blowing on the other side of the field, which I kind of guess Shaman Sky is good for tailwind if you are a doubles player. And unfortunately, Knockoff is going to get rid of my room service. But Hooper Unbound, it's not a very fast Pokemon anyway. It's only got like 80 base speed or something like that, so it's not that fast. Now, I'm in a position to do some damage here. The great thing about this, if the opponent does try and go for Protect, I'll just bust through and do some damage. That was some incredible damage there, and I stole... Oh, a Power Herb. Ooh, that must have been... That's got to have been like Solar Blade, right? Solar Blade without the sun? Yeah, I reckon that... I want to say that was Solar Blade for a physical set. Anyway, that is the inner Leaf on. I was actually kind of worried about Knockoff there. Maybe I should have gone for... the Shaman Sky, but it's going to feint me with Seed Flare. Very, very strong move. And with its ability Serene Grace, it doubles that. So it's like 8, it's like crazy, like, 60 or 60% chance to like drop your special defense by 2 stages. Now in comes Rotom here. Rotom Lawnmower. I mowed the lawn the other day, guys. It was good, you know. I wish I could have a Rotom lawnmower, though. You could put it on the lawn, press the button, and just, you know, away it would go, right? So I tried to start the lawnmower with my with my Hooper, and I went for the Ice Spinner on Shaman Sky because that was a threat, right? Now, it's going to have Focus Sash, which it does sometimes have, and Hex is going to do some big damage to Hooper. And I know that Shaman Sky is going to target my Urshifu there. But I had to absolutely go for that move because it was a huge, huge threat. Sadly, I lost my best Pokemon, but, you know, it's fine. I can... Most of the time, I didn't have to rely on Urshifu too much, which was all good to me. So we're going to go for a feint here, priority feint. And guess what? Shaman's got a feint. All right, that's down. So we've got my Hooper here, and I can go for another Hyperspace Hole, turn that lawnmower on. You know how you got to crank the chain a lot to turn it on a cold morning or something? Yeah, and then like, you do it too much, you end up flooding the motor. I've done it so many times. Anyway, we got Serena coming in here and Virizion. Okay, so we got the full-on grass. It's good to see some interesting Pokemon being used too. A lot of the doubles. I tried to give you guys the absolute cream of the battles that I had. So Serena's going to get hit by Hyperspace Hole again. Really good damage. Sableye's going to do a disappearing active with Phantom Force. Petal Blizzard is going to be Serena's attack, which hits both Pokemon. However, Sableye not being there, you know, I guess caused Hooper to faint there, more power. So bye-bye Hooper, but still good. Leaf Blade is going to miss the target, and I've got 2 Pokemon left. So I thought, the Trick Room's worn off. Let's go into Giratina. I'm float. I love how they float too. I've got Shadow Force and I've got Power Herb, so I can just unload the full load here. So we got Shadow Force. I'm going to disappear instantly out of nowhere. And now Sableye is going to come in as well. So I thought that would be really cool. So I went for Virizion. I knew that Virizion would probably just live that. And so they went for Sableye again. I guess they expected that to go first. Serena's got Triple Axle. You know, it usually has Triple Axle. Triple Axle is a very good move. Giratina's overall bulk does save that a lot, though, which is really, really good. Phantom Force is not going to take Serena out, but it's put it in a great range. So I thought, oh, look, they're both on about the same health. I can go for Shadow Force, and I could also go for Phantom Force here as well. And I may be able to even reserve Sableye with Quash on the last Pokemon. Okay, so disappearing. Sableye's going to be able to take that well. This is my all-round bulky Sableye set, which does very, very well, as you get to see. So Sableye's going to disappear, which is great. And now I can finish them both off. So here's the Shadow Force. You can't use protection on that either. And that's Serena down. And then I went for both Pokemon. If you don't go for that, doesn't goes for the next one. So Giratina actually dodges a Stone Edge. I don't know if that actually mattered too much, and it's gonna fade there. So we got one more Pokemon left, and this is probably one of the scariest Pokemon on their team, which is Superior. So I thought, all right, you're gonna try and get some Leaf Storm Contraries up. I can't allow that. I'm going to go for Quash and Thunderwave because I know that I'm going to get outspeed. So I gave him a little bit of a pat in the head for a good battle, right? The second I use Thunderwave, they rage quit. It's like the person before. So, like, I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't think people like getting Thunderwaved in Pokemon. So, let's get a like on the video for this. Another salty rage quit and some really, really great battles here. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Let's get on to battle number 4. I've got 8 battles for your entertainment today. All right, next battle here. This is against Alessandro, and we got that electric terrain. Now, Miraidon. This was a no-joke team too. This person was out to win, you know. Their team was very, very strong. I looked at it in the team preview. I'm like, I don't know what I can do to this team. It's pretty good. So I thought I'd give it my best shot and see what I could do. This team actually was pretty good considering how gimmicky it was. Like, I can only use certain moves, and sometimes my Pokemon would only have one attacking move too. But it was actually a really, really fun team to use there. All right, so I managed to live that attack, which is cool. That Dazzling Gleam hit me really hard from Miraidon, but Hooper's, got that fat special defensive stat. I think it's like 120 or 30. It's absolutely insane. So now I've got Phantom Force. I've got Hyperspace Hole. I'm looking at Miraidon. I'm thinking, you have to go. Like, it's too big a counter. Like, what do I do here? So do I double focus Miraidon and just get it out of the picture completely? I was having a big think about that. So I actually decided to go for a rare Terra earlier on. So I went for Terra Dark. Now, Terra Dark Hyperspace Fury that's one powerful move. So Hyperspace Fury has 100 base power. And with Terra Dark and its massive attack stat, 160 base and attack. So this is gonna hit hard. Will it take it out? I'm not sure it will, but look how close it was. I was like, man, that was so close. It was so good, right? So great damage there. I was very pleased with the damage. I wish it sort of fainted it, but it is what it is, right? That Shadow Ball is gonna miss there. Dazzling Gleam's gonna miss, and Hooper actually lives with another Dazzling Gleam, which is great. Now what I can do here is I can go for another Hyperspace Fury, but I can do it against the... I was thinking I could go for Armorogue with that, and then Hooper could take out Miraidon. That could be really good with, like, Phantom Force, right? So Hooper is going to go for Phantom Force on the Armorogue, and now I went for Phantom Force on my Hooper. So we both disappeared. I dodged a focus mist, which is really funny. And then we got an Electro Drift. Like, are they gonna go for my Hooper or my Unbound one? I tried to play some mind games, but then I lived that attack, which is really, really cool. So I've got 2 attacks to go here, like one's incoming. So I went for Hyperspace Hole. I spanked that Miraidon. I turned on the motorbike and I fainted it, which is really cool. These Pokemon have some good, like, bulk to, like, Hooper's got some good bulk. Like, both of them, they both have 130 base and special defense. So that allowed me to live a lot of special moves, which is pretty impressive. The thing about them is their defense is Qianpu, so it's only 60 base power. I wish that was a shiny Qianpow. That would have worked in with the joke real well, but it was pretty good, right? So in comes Farigiraf here and Qianpow. Now, this Farigiraf had an electric seed, so I was like, ooh, that's going to be annoying and bulky. Do I risk it all and go for the Farigiraf? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for that. So I went for Farigiraf. To be fair, I didn't have a lot to hit Qianpow with on my team. So I just double focused Farigiraf, and that was enough to take it out there. I want to go out on a limb and say, do you see what I did there? Go out on a limb, Hooper Unbound. Anyway, so I took that out in one shot there. I'm on fire today, guys, with these puns, So we got an Icicle Crash on the Hooper Unbound. Look, Hooper Unbound did absolutely wonderful in that battle. Like, look at his performance. So really good Pokemon Hooper Unbound. Very, very good. If you do play legendaries or those sort of actually, well, the latest regulation you can have a mythical too. So maybe give it a look. So Kyogre's going to come in here. We're going to bring in Giratina now. This, I was like, well, do you have Water Spout? If you got Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, the usual shenanigans. So Giratina, I thought, I need to get rid of. I have to do something here. Do I get rid of? They were both quite threatening Pokemon, and even though I had a pretty good start to the battle, these Pokemon were going to be very, very hard to get rid of. So I got hit by the Icicle Crash. No flinch, thank goodness, and I went for Shadow Force. I had to go for Shadow Force. It was important that I got some big damage there on Kyogre, right? Completely dumpstered, right? Took it out of one shot. Absolutely obliterated. So I'm really happy I got rid of that because you know what was coming there, right? Last Pokemon on the team is going to be Terrapagus, and they have not Terra'd yet. So, like, you're definitely going to Terra. I've got 5 Pokemon left, but, you know, Chien-Pao is a very, very good Pokemon. And there's quite a few counters going on here too. And Terrapagus can be really, really tanky. And with its signature move, it can do tons of damage to both Pokemon too, right? Terra Starstorm. So I got to watch out for that. And it's very tanky, so I needed to hit it with like a fighting move. Now, I did have Urshifu in the back, but I had to be cautious when I sent in Urshifu because of, you know, Chien-Pao and, you know, what moves that I had. So Dunsparce is going to get hit by the Ice Crash. I swapped it in there to tank it. And here comes the Terra Starstorm. Now, Hooper only had a bit of health left anyway, and that's down. So suddenly I've lost 2 Pokemon. Dunsparce is below half health. So I thought, all right, I've used up my Power Herb. What am I going to... I need to bait the Chien-Pao into attacking Giratina so I can get some damage right. So I went for Thunder Wave on Chien-Pao, but it fainted me with Ice Crash. There wasn't much I could do there. I thought, worst case scenario, I lift the Terra Starstorm with Dunsparce, and then I get some damage on Chien-Pao. Like, fainting that was a very, very important thing, or at least getting rid of it, you know, if it had a sash or something like that. So some pretty good damage there. That's fine to me. So I've got Urshifu and Sableye left. As you guys know, Sableye is extraordinarily passive, like the set that I've got. And Dunsparce just died there. So you can see how quick the battle turned around with Chien-Pao, right? Very, very powerful Pokemon. And, you know, I had to get rid of it fast. So I went for Drain Punch, and that took out the Chien-Pao, which is excellent. I quite like running Drain Punch on mine, except for... Like, I know a lot of people like running Close Combat, but I like running Drain Punch, because Urshifu isn't really that fast, you know? It can benefit a lot from Drain Punch. So that hit me really, really hard. I believe that was Zen Headbutt, so it's a physical set. So I've got... Alright, I've got Feint, and I've got Drain Punch, so it's time to get some damage right. So we got the Drain Punch and Feint combination here. Really, the fact is, if I had Close Combat here... I'd say my Urshifu would have lost because I would have dropped my defenses and Terrapagus would have finished me, right? I definitely believe that because I would have taken one already and then another one. So we got a Feint here and another round of Drain Punch, and that is the end of Terrapagus. So that was a great battle as well. My opponent really did claw back my early lead there. But as you can see, once my Trick Room wears out on those earlier couple of Pokemon, and Dunsparce is a fairly heavy setup Pokemon, and once Giratina's used its Power Herb, it's very, very vulnerable then, right? All right, let's get on to battle number 5. This one is against Killian, I'm not really sure how to say that. We have another really good battle here. So this actually was pretty cool because they had all the new DLC Pokemon, the Loyal 3 and all that sort of stuff. So it was a pretty interesting team. I need a drink too. Okay, I've stocked up there on G Fuel using code SALT. Now we've got an attack and special attack drop there on my Hooper, and that was Parting Shot from Monkey Dory. So now we got Fezandipity hopping in here. I went for Hyperspace Fury, and it's going to be able to tank it. So I'd say they definitely, predicted that. This Pokemon was actually a fairly annoying one to counter with some of my Pokemon. So I was like, do I get rid of Fezandipity or do I go for Ogerpon? Normal Ogerpon is still definitely a fairly decent Pokemon too. So I was like, all right, I've got Phantom Force, I've got Hyperspace Fury. I'm actually going to save my Hooper Unbound here. I'm going to save it for a little bit later on. I thought Dunsparce might be a good damage sponge, and I might be able to set up a bit here. So going for Hyperspace Fury, getting rid of Fezandipity, which is good. So getting that out the way, and also conserving my Unbound as well. Next Pokemon is going to be Baninu. These might be this has to be a different language because I may have seen this before. So in comes Okie Doggy anyway. Good damage on Ogerpon there. You don't get to see Okie Doggy too much. And I've got the coil going on here. So boosting up my attack and defense. So I would say this thing has a fighting move like Drain Punch or Superpower, right? So I had a big mess up my narration. There was like a corruption in my video right here. So I'm gonna have to narrate this little bit again where we're up to. So we're back on, I'm so salty right now. If you guys can give me a sympathy like on the video, let's go, come on. I'm so salty. After all that time, I've got to narrate this bit. Okay, so we've got the Hyperdrill and Coil set going pretty well here. I'm spinning around. Things are going well now. Hopefully no more narration corruptions and those sort of things. Now, Dunsparce is going to be really, really tanky, and I've got to get rid of this Ogerpon because it has now become quite a threatening Pokemon here. You actually don't get to see Okie Doggy at all very much. It's not that common Pokemon. I thought you might see it a bit more, maybe because of its typing. Out comes Ursaluna Blood Moon. This is actually quite a threatening Pokemon for sure. And I'm thinking here, I probably better target it with my Hooper. Firstly, Dunsparce is going to outspeed all the Pokemon, but since I actually lost my, you know how I had my room service and Trick Room going before? But I swapped it out and swapped it back in, so I actually lost the speed drop that I had, and Ursaluna ended up outspeeding me in the Trick Room. I can also see that the Life Orb is its item as well, and Superpower is going to take out my my Dunsparce there. So bye-bye Dunsparce. There were a few instances when the Okie Doggy used Bulk Up too. So the Trick Room has ended. We're going to bring in Urshifu now, which I'm actually going to need to take out this Blood Moon. It's quite threatening. So I've got Sableye here, I've got Fan of Force, and I've got Quash. So I thought, is Quash gonna do much? Not really. So I went for Faint on Okie Doggy. I've got some really, really good quality. Oh, it's a crit. Wow. That's a really, really good damage there. And Surging Strikes is going to be able to take out the Ursaluna Blood Moon really, really well. So I'm happy with that. Now, we've got one speedy Pokemon left, Monkey Dory, and Monkey Dory will outspeed Urshifu, so I thought, if I can get a Quash there, pat the monkey, you know, and then go for a Surging Strikes and take it outright. So postponing the monkey and critical hits times 3 is going to be enough to take out Monkey Dory, which is really good, because that has a high special attacking stat, and that would have, well, that really would have destroyed me. There's not much I could have done there. Last Pokemon is Infomochi, and this I was curious about because Petron has a really, really fat defensive stat. So I thought, if I go for Surging Strikes with Mystic Water, with Terra Water, I want to see if I can one-shot, and Animate Nature as well. So I really wanted to see if it could live in, you know, depending on what moveset and, you know, EV spread they were running too. So we both did a double Terra on the same turn. So we have a Poison Mochi, and we also got a Water Urshifu, which, you know, is such a rare Pokemon to see, you know. So go for that Surging Strikes, and it's doing lots of damage. It really, really is, but man, Urshifu is just not going to be able to take it. It got very close, though. It's pretty impressive. Now, with my Sableye, I actually went for a Phantom Force, and I went for the Petron because, you know, it being a ghost type, I thought, oh, I'll be able to feint that. But, you know, with no EVs in attack, I was like, oh, I'm not so sure Sableye is going to feint it. I mean, it'll get close, I think. Okie Doggy can't really hit Sableye at all, and goes for Poison Jab and crits me, and it also poisons me too. So that was a pretty fortunate turn getting that. Absolutely. Now I've got, this is actually my last 2 Pokemon. So I'm going to disappear here. I'm going to perform a magic trick, you know. And I used to be able to do this magic trick. Can't remember how I did it. I'd put like, I don't know, I'd show a card and then the card would be inside my mouth. But I don't know how I did it right. It was like some sort of like like sleight of hand or something like that. And then, I tried it like a few years ago and the card turned to like mush. So we're going to bring in the Giratina. I'm going to take that Okie Doggy out, right? In one shot. Because I've got Sableye coming in hot with the Phantom Force. So the infamous Mochi is going to go for Shadow Ball. Giratina tanks it like a treat. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a special defense drop there. But I'm going to be able to outspeed it in the next turn. And Sableye actually takes it out too, which is really cool. I guess it's got that nice high base power, which is going to help Sableye, even with no attack EVs. That is the end of the 5th battle. I'm trying to get my bearings here where I'm up to. Thank you, Killian, for the battle. Let's get on to battle number 6. Not sure of my opponent's name here. Wait, I think it translates into Joba. And we have got a Lunala and Fluttermane lead here. So they've got the boosted energy increasing the speed, which is quite good for my Trick Room strategy. So Fluttermane is quite a threatening Pokemon for both these Hoopers, especially the Hooper on the left, which is 4 times weak to Ghost. So I thought if I use Protect here and then Hooper unbanned, let's say if it is aimed at by a Moonblast or something, I know that I can take that attack and then get Trick Room up because it's got a very good special defensive stat. So we got a Helping Hand Lunala, a support set for the Fluttermane, and it's going to be using Dazzling Gleam. So Dazzling Gleam is going to be hitting both of us, and that would have been pretty nasty. It would have been fairly nasty there. So Hooper Unbound takes that pretty well, considering it's super effective and coming from Fluttermane, and I managed to get up the Trick Room here. So now both my Pokemon are going to, eat their items or eat their room service. You're in a hotel and then they bring the room service in and you eat it and you just leave it. And just like the bed sheets and all those other things, you leave it and you go. It's the best feeling. You don't need to clean up, right? So that's room service. And what would that? I'm not sure what that would be in Pokemon. That'd be like you leave your Pokeball untidy on the inside. I don't know. And then another Pokemon comes inside the Pokeball and cleans it up. I'm not sure. That's my closest Pokemon analogy that I can come up with. So Lunala is going to get absolutely dominated by Hyperspace Fury, and there's no more helping hands there for Fluttermane, which is going to be good. Fluttermane is... Oh, I got a Twisted Spoon as well. That definitely had a Psychic type move. Fluttermane is going to take out Hooper, unfortunately, Hooper Unbound, but I'm actually pretty happy with that result there. It's not a bad result by any stretch of the imagination. So bringing in Giratina. I know Trick Room is still up at the moment, but I know the Fluttermane's got to outspeed me, so I'll be able to get some big damage off here. So Tinkaton, it's like, well, you can't really use Fake Out because we're both Ghost types, so you're not going to be able to use that. What is it going to be able to do? So I was thinking about this for a bit. I'm like, well, Hyperspace Hole, that's a 2-hit KO on Fluttermane. We could take that out, and then I could go for, I'm thinking like a Will-O-Wisp on Tinkaton to shut it down. And then it's going to be pretty much dead weight, right? That was the idea anyway. So I went for the Will-O-Wisp there on the Tinkaton, and it had... he went for Play Rough there. Sorry, that little bit got cut out. Kyogre's going to come in here. It's going to have the Drizzle. I just went for some damage because Kyogre is obviously a very, very dangerous Pokemon. And we're going to... wow, a Focus Sash Kyogre. What the heck? With Water... What? With Water Spout? Oh, okay. Anyway, so Water Spout, hits pretty hard there, and Gigaton Hammer is going to take out a weakened Hooper. Giratina is still standing, which is good. Now I was thinking here, I'll go for the Thunder Wave and paralyze Kyogre. I thought it might be a little bit risky with the Trick Room and stuff going, but once Trick Room's gone, it's going to be easily outspared, and there's not that many turns left. So bringing in Dunsparce. I thought this would be a good opportunity to actually bring in Dunsparce and maybe try and get some Amnesias going here. So with the Everlight and Amnesia, this Dunsparce is like disgustingly bulky. Really, really bulky of Everlight. It's absolutely insane, right? Giratina's going to go for Shadow Force, and I've got the Power Herb attached too, so I thought I'll just get some really, really big damage here. That's going to be the goal, right? Wait, sorry, I've used my Power Herb already. My bad there. So I thought, I've got the Amnesia up. How about I go for coil now. Any physical attackers, and also increase my, the damage I do with hyper drill and stuff like that. So this is really funny. So in comes Miraidon. And as you know, Miraidon is an extremely good Pokemon in singles and doubles. You see it everywhere, right? So I thought, with my Dunsparce, I've got Terra Electric. Terra Electric is going to be really, really good because I'm only trading singular weakness to another singular weakness. And I'm also walling a very, very popular Pokemon. And I've got an Amnesia up as well. So I thought that'd be a really, really good, somewhat of a counter for Miraidon. Of course, once I've got Amnesias and stuff up there. So I've got a plan here. So I'm going to execute it, right? I thought the Miraidon might target the Giratina this turn with a Dragon type move. And it did. It went for Dragon Pulse and fainted Giratina. It wasn't that much of a loss, though. I was still fine with it. Tinkaton is going to use Play Rough, and, it's going to do 2 damage, right? I'm going to go for Coil here. So I'm very, very well set up here. I'm confident at this stage I can sweep their team easy just with Dunsparce. I don't need any support at all. I've also got Roost on this as well if I do need to heal myself. But I've got Sableye, and I want to see what happens here. So I thought if I go Hyper Drill, Terra Electric and Hyper Drill on Miraidon, and then give Miraidon a little pat on the head, that'll be awesome, right, with Quash. So they actually had a Terra fighting Miraidon. Like, wow, they're going to be really salty because I Terra'd this turn as well. And I'm not going to be normal, right? I'm going to be electric. So they Terra'd virtually for no reason there. Because I knew they were going to aim at my Dunsparce eventually because it's way too threatening, right? So I gave Miraidon a little pat on the head there for a good job. Good job there. Play Rough is going to miss on Sableye. Would have done donkeys anyway. It was burned. And I went with a Hyper Drill. And Miraidon got put down to last. I can feint it the next turn here. I was like, all right, this will be interesting to see what the Terra Blast damage is, right? And Miraidon does absolutely nothing at all. It got completely walled. Their team is utterly walled by Dunsparce now. I go to select the move here for Hyper Drill, and then they salty baby bottle. So there's another Rage Quit. Let's get some likes for these Rage Quit people. There's been some really, really good battles today. Dunsparce shutting them down left, right, and center. All right, let's get on to the next battle here. This is actually a battle against a Korean player. This one was interesting. So we've got a Grimmsnarl and a Whimsicott lead here. Now, both of these Pokemon are very, very predictable, right? Whimsicott will generally always try and set up a Tailwind. And Grimmsnarl will generally always try and set up screens or use Parting Shot, right? That's what they're good at. That's what they're used for, right? So Tailwind from Whimsicott is not much of a problem at all. It really isn't because, as you know, I've got Trick Room, so I can easily get around that. Now, Grimmsnarl set up Light Screen, and unfortunately for Grimmsnarl, I'm going to be targeting it because I actually want to feint that real quick, right? So 3 quick surging strikes is going to take out Grimm. I don't know what they were thinking with Urshifu. Like on what planet did they think that surging strikes was balanced? Like it's such a strong move. Next Pokemon is a Turtus, which is a bit of a worry here. I can't do a lot. I've got a weak Ice Spinner, but I do have Hooper. So I thought, well, Hyperspace Hole will be really good. I can't lose my Urshifu yet because there's some really powerful Pokemon in the back there on their team, and I was concerned, right, if I didn't have that. So this is really funny. So I swapped into Hooper. Whimsicott went Memento, but it failed because of the Hooper being a Dark type, right? So Prankster fails against Dark types, and they completely actually wasted their turn there. Turtus is going to set up a layer of Toxic Spike, which is interesting, and I set up the Trick Room, so that's going to be great because I didn't actually start with both the Hoopers this time. I tried to do something a bit differently, but we sort of came full circle and we're back to consuming our room service inside our Pokeballs again, right? So I've got, this is pretty funny. So I got encored by the Whimsicott, which was a good play there. Unfortunately, that's going to interrupt my Trick Room and I'm going to get rid of the Trick Room. So I'm like, oh no, this sucks, right? My Trick Room's, now gone. Turtus is going to go for yet another turn of Toxic Spikes. And my Hooper this turn, well, I just went for Hyperspace Fury to get some damage, right? Eternatus was threatening. Really good damage. I am going to drop my defense there. Now I thought for a second, I've got an idea. So Magician steals a Citrus Berry, which is great. Since I've got one Trick Room left, I thought, if I go for Trick Room again, I won't be able to use Trick Room again. And if they go for Encore again, they won't be able to Encore me into it, right? So I went for the Hyperspace Fury there. I took out the Eternatus. So that was a pretty good result, for sure. So I got rid of that. They really only set Toxic Spikes up. So that was, to me, that was a pretty good win there. Next Pokemon is going to be Terrapagus, right? So Terrapagus is a very threatening Pokemon. And it's Terra Blast is going to be doing a lot of damage to both my Pokemon, right? I've got four of them left, and Whimsicott goes for Encore, but it fails because I ran out of Trick Rooms, right? So that's one thing. If you do run out of if the PP does run out, you can't Encore something. You can't clap if there's no PP there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put it any plainer than that. So I've got that Hyperspace Fury. Really, really good damage there to Terrapagus. Excellent damage there. A real chunk of damage I took away. Terrapagus, instead of attacking, is going to use Stealth Rock. So that surprised me a little bit there. Setting up entry hazards. Not really so good in doubles for sure. Now they're going to go for Protect. I'm like, wait, that's gonna get busted through, right? So Whimsicott's going to go for Tailwind again, setting that up again. I went for Hyperspace Hole on Whimsicott and really good damage to it, half its health. And this turn, I went for Hyperspace Fury, so I just completely busted through that Protect there. So I don't know what they were trying to achieve there, but I broke through the protection there. I'm not gonna say a joke there. Anyway, so that's the end of Terrapagus. We've got 3 more Pokemon left here. 3 more left. Now, this is where things started to get pretty real here. They had some, these last 2 Pokemon were massive threats, right? So now that now that Whimsicott, well, it really can't do a lot, has used up its purpose with Tailwind, it's going to use Memento on my Hooper. And since that Hooper's not a Dark type, it's Ghost and Psychic, it actually works this time. So I went for the Hyperspace hole there on Kyogre, and I did a lot of damage. And out comes Zacian. So I've got 1 Hyperspace Fury left. And yeah, things weren't looking too good for Zacian. I lost no Pokemon. As you can see, I was very much ahead in the score, but they'd had a lot of entry hazards on the field, and now things weren't going to go my way so easily, because I didn't have a lot to hit the Zacian with outside of a Hyperspace Fury Terra Dark, which I just went for some damage there. So I just did a bit under half on Zacian's health. I was happy with that. Zacian is an incredibly good Pokemon, and so is Kyogre spamming Origin Pulse. There's some crazy powerful Pokemon here, right? Now, I've got that Citrus Berry that I ate earlier on, and I believe the Zacian took me out with a play rough here, so I was going to faint that turn regardless, so I thought I'll just get some damage off on there. I think that's the best play, yeah? So, Hooper, the light screen's going to wear off too, and the Hooper's Trick Room's gone. So I'm like, here we go. This is going to be really difficult because they've got the speed advantage. They've got a Kyogre that can spam Origin Pulse, and they've got a Zacian too that's going to be pretty damn unstoppable, right? So firstly, Zacian is going to go first and attack Dunsparce with Behemoth Blade. Does a heap of damage. I haven't been able to get up my coils, and they can just finish them off with Origin Pulse. So suddenly it went from me not losing a Pokemon to losing a ton, right? And that's virtually how it is. I knew that was going to happen once my Trick Room wear off. So half my team's gone. I've got Sableye, which is pretty useless. It's quite passive, but it's got Quash. So I thought, let's make use of this Giratina. I've got Urshifu. I know that it's raining, but I don't know, they haven't used Terra yet, so I'm a little bit shy to swap it in yet. I just want to see what I could do with Giratina. I thought maybe I could go for Will-O-Wisp on Zacian and burn it. Does that seem to be quite a scary Pokemon? So first, I had to sort of toss up to go for either Faint or Quash. So I went for the Quash here, on the Zacian, I delayed its turn, right? I really wanted to delay that. Giratina's going to go for Will-O-Wisp and burn it, which is good. So now if they go for a play rough or, you know, whatever they go for, it's not going to be as powerful. However, Kyogre managed to go for an Ice Beam here and attack me. So I'm like, bugger. I thought they might just go for Origin Pulse and then the, you know, Behemoth Blade or Play Rough. But the Kyogre actually, they double targeted my Giratina there, which is a bit of a shame. So that Giratina is down. And Zacian is burned though. So that's, you know, at least one good thing. So my last Pokemon is Urshifu. And I've got Surging Strikes. So I thought, all right, I absolutely have to go for Surging Strikes on Zacian, but I have to go for Quash to outspeed it. So I can't go for Faint on Kyogre yet, you know what I mean? Because if I do, then Zacian faints Urshifu, and then I can't take out the Zacian, right? So it's a catch-22 right now. Here comes the final Terra, and it's going to be Terra Water on Zacian. A very, very good defensive Terra. On Zacian, very, very good, and you know, is great against a lot of its weaknesses. So giving Zacian a little pat on the head there, I went for Surging Strikes in the rain, and even with that defensive Terra and Zacian's overall good bulk there, Urshifu is actually able to take it out, so that's excellent. So I was like, that's really, really good. You know, if I had to get rid of that because Sableye was not going to do anything at all. Kyogre this turn is going to go for, I thought it might go for Thunder, but it went for Thunderbolt instead. And I don't know why they had that. I mean, it still did the job, but I don't know why they had Thunderbolt. I guess they were scared of their rain. You guys are going to roast me here, so I was going to go for Feint, and I didn't, and Kyogre fainted me instead. So I'm going to get roasted with that one. I'd say Feint would have taken Kyogre out, even with like 10, I don't know, 20 or 30 base power, no attack EVs. But anyway, really, really good battle there. Let's get on to the 8th and final battle here. Now, my other narration is going to kick in a second because the last little bit was there. But yeah, this has been a really, really long video. So we've got a interesting battle here. This one is actually against Super Bowser, and we have more of a science. This is more of a science experiment battle, right? As you'll actually get to see. Because there was a lot of protection moves used in this battle. So you got to see a lot of instances of me busting through specific protection moves, like Burning Bulwark, you know, those, and Detect and those kind of moves, which is pretty cool. And, you know, using Feint as, not that I actually got the Feint to work quite a few times earlier on, I think, in the video, but still really cool stuff to see, right? If you're still watching, let me know if you'd love to see more of these doubles battles. I hope you're still watching at the moment, and yeah, let's keep going. So Hooper's gonna have a speed drop here. Well, one of my Hoopers, well, actually both of them with the Trick Room, and now I'm primed to take out this Smeagol. So the Primarina was actually not Primarina as well. It was a Zoroark Hisuian. So that was that actually was kind of a counter to one of my Pokemon, like, because it was a normal and a ghost. So I was thinking, gee, there's one or two Pokemon that can't really do too much damage to that at all. But anyway, Smeagol I got down there, and then I brought in my Sableye. Now, okay, I brought in my Sableye, but then I realized that my Sableye couldn't do anything at all here, right? But anyway, this is where my next narration actually takes over here. So Primarina is going to use Protect, and then my Sableye went for Quash. And let's get into it. For viewing purposes, I probably should have put Hooper Unbound, like, made it go on the left side instead of the right side, because you guys can't see the other Pokemon sometimes. Primarina's going to go for, Detect, that's a Protect move as well. Wait, that's going to bust through. Phantom Force actually busts through there as well. Well, it's going to bust through. So I actually got a Life Orb from that. And I went for Phantom Force here. Sorry, two Pokemon are using Phantom Force. It's very, very confusing sometimes. Primarina is going to go for the Carmine. Which Primarina, though? The real Primarina pre-stand up. Well, it's sort of, it's not standing up. It's kind of sitting there, you know. So we got another Protect. They've both got Protect and Detect. So here comes a Shadow Sneak from the Totally Not Zoroark, and Hooper takes some fairly nasty damage. Here comes Hyperspace Fury on, that was the actual Primarina. Yeah, it was, and it said it broke through the opposing Primarina's protection. So there you go. That's what happens when someone tries to protect. those certain moves. But you guys got to see that during the start of the video too with Feint and some other moves too. And Urshifu just ignores it completely with contacting moves, you know. So looking at my field, I had a really dumb moment because this was getting pretty late. I'm like, I'm gonna go for a feint here. Wait, feint's not gonna work. And then Solgaleo's gonna go for a knockoff ride, and that's gonna finish off my Hooper Unbound. Sableye, it was completely walled by Zoroark. I was laughing about that because it was so handy in every single battle, but you know, when it came to doing like a meme Pokemon battle, it just couldn't do anything to it at all. So bringing in Giratina, and I was like, am I really going to have to sweat it out here and go for a Shadow Force on this Zoroark? Am I really going to have to do that? So we got Solgaleo here. I'm going to give it, I'll give it a pat on the head. So, you got to give the, when you go to the zoo, right, you walk past the lion section and you give it a quick pat on the head, but you quickly pull your hand away, right, because you don't want to lose your hand, you know. If you know, you know, right? I seen this video like the other day. I don't know if it looked real. You know, you never know these days, right? But it was like this, like you'd put the meat in for the lion, and then it'd put its like face in there, and then eat it, and you could pat its head. But I don't know, I don't know if that's actually a real thing or not. Maybe someone's seen a zoo like that before. I don't know. That'd be crazy to see them in the wild. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Out comes a pig. And it has got it's got leftovers there, so it's a very bulky pig, you know. Now I've got Pain Split, I've got Thunder Wave, and I've got Willow Mist. Now Willow Mist is going to be pretty useless. I've got Shadow Force, so another Shadow Sneak on my Giratina. Now I would say confidently that Shadow Sneak on my Giratina from Zoroark burned is easily a 35 hit KO. So it's not doing much. And I'll be honest, I just burnt that Zoroark and I was like, I'm just going to forget about it the whole battle because I can't do anything to it. It's just going to die to burn, you know. I see Sableye there. It just appeared behind Giratina, you know. It looks, wait, if you look like, hear me out, right? If you look at Giratina, then you look at Sableye. Sableye's riding Giratina like a horse. Like, see that? Look, it's on the top. Its arms are waving around with like the, what do you call those things on the back of a horse? Like the rope things. Not the saddle. You sit on the saddle. The reins. Oh, wait, it just started raining. All right, anyway, we got a Shadow Force here. Von Giratina getting very sidetracked in this battle. We're an hour in now. It's the wheels are starting to fall off. I'm going to get hit by a rock slide here from Embor. That's a nasty flinching set. I would never do anything like that ever. So I've got plans for this Primarina to take it out. I do, but I just left it on the field for now. So I've got Quash, I've got Fan of... I really have nothing. Feint is going to do nothing at all. So Embor is going to use... I think every one of these Pokemon has a protection move there. I'm pretty sure they've all used it. So, oh wait, here we go. I get to bust through the protect. So I went for Feint, and it says Embor fell for the Feint. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, I was going to finish... Wait, that was a double... Did you notice that? That was a double breakthrough protection. I just noticed that because, like, Feint broke for the protection and Shadow Force went through it as well. Really, really cool. So, we got 3 Pokemon left there. Solgaleo, Zoroark. Zoroark using the tech there. Now, Zoroark is just using tech. I'm gonna pat the lion again. You know, we're back in the zoo here. I love Quash Sableye. It's really, really good. In fact, I'm actually thinking, what other Pokemon really can make a good use of Quash? Let's be honest. There's not many, if any, that can really, really use Quash. I'm trying to think on the top of my head who can use Quash effectively, right? So obviously Sableye can. What's the fastest Quash Pokemon in the game right now? I want to say it's like... Or I reckon Persian Alola. Persian Alola would be a good one too, I would say. And Murkrow. Murkrow pranks the Murkrow of Quash too. That'd be good. There you go, guys. So there's some good Quash users if you like doubles. Another interesting one could be Oranguru as well, if used in the right situation. And more think Morpeko and Iron Leaves also get it too. I'm trying to think of some faster Pokemon. But as for slow ones there, Sableye is the, it's the absolute GOAT. I think Tinkaton may get it as well. There might be some others there, but I feel like I've covered, most of them in general. A great one too was, I think it was, you could do like Quash and then you could Mega your Sableye. I remember those days. Anyway, back to the battle there. Just thinking about some things here. We got Grassy Glide on the Giratina. Now, I've got to ask you all a question. If you're still watching at this point, there's been a lot of speculation and videos about Malamar. Would you like to see a Malamar video? I've never done one. Like I want to do something like Malamar, like maybe a guide on it and a team with it as well, like Inkays and Malamars and stuff. Maybe we could do a fresh Malamar sweep. Tell me what if you'd like to see that, because we've had a lot of clues about Malamar. We've seen the last few videos and stuff. I believe they're definitely hinting at something. Anyway, so I've got 3 Pokeball. This was a really, really long battle. I'm not sure why though, but there was a lot of protection going on here. I mean, you guys learned a lot from this video, right? This is the sort of stuff you meant to learn in primary school or whatever. So that's the end of I got Giratina left. Yeah, Giratina's still alive. And now I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm faint. Okay, wait. How was Zoroark still alive at this point? I just ignored it for the whole battle. Okay, we got Grassy. That's right. I've got Urshifu. So Urshifu, I was like, I'm gonna bring this in, and what I'm gonna do with Ice Spinner is I'm gonna get rid of the Zoroark, and I'm also gonna get rid of the grassy terrain because it's taking 69 years, right? So we got Solgaleo at 4 health still, which is fine. I've also got Shadow Force as well, and I thought, well, I could go for Shadow Force on Solgaleo. That's going to be super effective. I've also got Terra Ghost too. So Primarina's going to, Zoroark, I've called that Primarina, the Zoroark Primarina about 100 times. I went for Aqua Jet there just to get rid of it, so it lived. Is that Everlight? I think it's Everlight. Anyway, so it lived, the Aqua Jet, and Zoroark is going to get hit by, I see what their team is. So they've got strategies with, they've got Protect in Earthquake. I see. So Earthquake actually hits me really, really hard. And not Urshifu, but, Giratina there. So lots of grass here. And this was the turn. I was like, yep, I'm going to get rid of the grass and go for Ice Spitter and then take the Zoroark out. And then we'll only have the Solgaleo, which is paralyzed. And I could even go for Pain Split against that or just straight up Shadow Fall. So another Shadow Sneak on the Giratina. See, I told you guys it was a 35 hit KO. It's on 35 health. I've done it again. Anyway, so that's going to be the Zoroark. It's going to faint there and the terrain is going to disappear there. I like Ice, real talk, I do like Ice Spirit on Urshifu, like a more competitive set, because it's good at getting rid of those annoying terrains, like grassy terrain and electric terrain. Really, really good for it. And it's good for having Ice move too. So Earthquake's gonna hit hard. Here comes a Aqua Jet combination and Shadow Force. I don't know why I didn't go for Surging Strikes there. I have no idea why I didn't. I think I was gonna faint anyway. So I got hit by Earthquake. I lived on 1 health, and yeah, that's the end of the battle. And then we got a Terra here. So I'm like, what's this Terra gonna be? And it turned out to be Terra Psychic. So that's gonna be pretty much the end of the battle. This is more of a science experiment than the other battle. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all those moves getting busted through, right? What a really cool concept for a video. If you did enjoy it, if you want to support the channel, if you're new here, drop that like, hit that subscribe button. There's pure memes, lots of salt, and tons of cool ideas here. Thank you everyone for watching today. If you stuck around, peace out.